Let's invite. Copy. Okay. Let's see if this is actually working now. Mouse battery low. What the fuck? Really? God damn it. Seriously? You bastard. Oh, okay. Okay.
Hey.
That seems to work. Okay. That works. Good.
Oh, so you opened the third one.
Dying right now, so. That's 2 people. Let's see if we can get the. Okay, there's Chris. There's Professor. Okay, I'm still waiting for Hiko here, and I think my mouse is about to die. I have to pull up a mouse somewhere. Yeah, I wonder if this will work. Well, of course, I didn't. Hey, Patrik.
Hey.
Niko.
This is Niko. Oh, here we go.
Hey, Niko.
Okay, that's how it works. Oh, look at that. There we go. We got another house.
There we go.
So I was very curious as to how they got 5 or 6 people in here, but you can see it's very natural.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, is it?
No. How's the sound? We're all talking over each other, though, huh?
No, actually, the sound's good, except the overlay is covering up your face. It actually improves the picture.
Bastard. How do I get rid of the overlay?
On the right-hand side. Down the bottom. Right on the left.
Pay the subscription fee.
But you can turn it off. You can customize it with a subscription, but you can turn it off on the left-hand side of your screen, or you use your right hand facing your screen on the side there that's got the controls. You're hosting this, right, Victor? So
yeah.
See it there. If you look at overlay, you can turn it on and off.
I see comments. I see overlays. Okay. Ninja Roo says howdy. Okay, you can do that.
Howdy, Drew.
The brand part? Oh, here we go. Logo. Hide. Oh, it doesn't let me hide.
There's no way you can hide, Victor. You can turn it off.
No.
You can turn it on and off. Look at the overlay. You can just click on the overlay. Dude.
It says hide minus.
This is actually not even technical. Yes.
I'm clicking on the minus where it says hide, and nothing's happening. It says you have to pay money. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when I was testing, I was able to turn it on and off. He turned something off.
He turned himself off.
He dropped himself.
It does look really good. I do love this. And this is what Hangouts should have been like 5 years ago. Like, why couldn't they just let us do this, right?
They could drop the comment a little bit quicker. It's just been up there covering everybody's face.
Victor's got to turn that on and off himself.
I can't see the YouTube comments, so I guess only Victor can see the YouTube comments. Is that right?
You can't see the YouTube comment?
No,
I can't.
No,
I
so
see
I guess I've got to find the
private chat. Is all
It's
this is probably going to be like it was on Hangouts. We got to open up a separate window to see.
Exactly.
Yeah, the host can see them, but we can't. So Victor can select the comment like Ninja Roo there, but we have to go and look at the.
Oh,
we can't see it.
I'm the only person who can select them, but you can see them if you go to the other page.
So can you share the link in the private chat? Can you share the link for the YouTube thing so we can see the comments?
Yeah, I got it up. Yeah.
Oh, can someone put it in the private chat? Thanks. Can you share the?
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, everyone share that, by the way. And let me see. I'll put it on Twitter right now.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, I popped the chat out myself over here so I can see it. What are we sharing?
Sharing the link to this video. It's in the private chat?
Yeah. So now I can see the comments if you look on the side there. We've got Mr. Pickle saying howdy. Julia J, hi from Holland. Ninjabrew88 saying howdy. We've got Kenshiro. Whoa, a 5-way. Shoeless Floor Dweller, 3 links on. People don't know which. You apparently have shared 5 different YouTube links, and that's confused people.
I don't know how that I've shared those, but I guess it's an automatic share. Okay. Well, true believers will find it, I guess.
That's right.
Let me see. I'll try to put it on Facebook again. Let's see.
Yeah, the comments really doesn't do well. I can hide my double pin this way.
Live now.
I like how it takes a high resolution image from the YouTube API.
And banners. Let me see. How do I turn off the?
This is great quality.
Okay, hi. There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
And you can take off the stream overlay the same way. Well, you should be able to. That's what I was able. I was able to do it in testing on the free version.
Well, maybe this will do it. No, that's not doing it. Let's try to say this is hide.
Overlay on the overlay thing. That's the lower third. That's the branding thing. You don't want to go
Okay,
on the
so
brand.
I'm going on the brand. Go to brand, right?
No, it's not brand. It's overlay. If I recall correctly.
There's no overlay. There's comments, banners, brand, and private chat.
Yeah.
Maybe because you have Windows. Maybe that's why. Oh.
I'm just going to separately open up. Let me.
No, I'm on Mac.
You too.
Kenshiro says, unless Victor's trying to get a 6th person, what seems to be the problem? It's a new thing. We're just hammering out the bugs. Not bugs, just learning it.
Yeah.
That's all.
So Victor, like at least in the test that I'm looking at right now, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you click on banners, then it's got brand color, theme, logo, overlay, background. Under overlay,
on banners, it doesn't have any of that.
Where so on the menu for brand, you should have brand color, theme, logo, overlay, background. Can you not see
Brand
it?
color, theme, logo, overlay, background. Oh, okay.
Yeah. On overlay, you see that
I got
something
it.
selected. Click on that. It'll make it disappear if you click on on the left hand thing.
I just
figured it out.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Does anyone else want to join?
Tech support here at your service.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, let me introduce who we have here. Just stuck, Victor. Just stuck between it. Okay. Hi guys. If anyone else wants to join us. Here we have next to me Niko from where are you? Belgium?
Austria.
Fuck. I keep thinking you're Belgium. Sorry, man.
Doesn't matter.
Austria.
Anyways. Same thing.
Then do I tell your location, Professor Outlaw?
Sure, it's okay.
He's in Aichi. You're in Aichi, north of me, right?
Gifu, Tajimi.
Oh, you're in Gifu. Okay, you're in Gifu. Okay.
It's like Belgium, Austria, Gifu, Aichi, same thing.
Same thing.
He's south of Gifu, north of Kenshiro.
Not allowing to say where you're at.
Anyway, very close. And we hung out today. And then we have Hiko in Tokyo and Mully in Shizuoka, I think. Is that right? Near Shizuoka.
Jesus Christ, Victor, we've known each other 10 years. You don't know where I live yet?
I don't know. I don't know what. I'm giving you a chance to correct me so you can hide your location. Like someone's going to stalk you and try to rape you when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, so actually, we have a couple things we can talk about right away. This is the new YouTube way to do live shows. When did this change? Hiko, you have the most experience with this kind of thing. You do the weekly show. You've been using what? What have you been using, Hiko?
Me? Oh, yeah. So I've been using Streamlabs OBS, which is just a nice version of OBS, which is what everyone uses for streaming games and stuff like that. And it takes some setting up, but once it's set up, it's just one click and use the same setting every week. But yes, you showed this StreamYard thing to me this morning, and I had to play around with it. And this is basically, to me, this is what Hangouts on YouTube, like default Hangouts, should have been years ago. This is what YouTube should be giving us. Multiple cameras at once, sharing screens. This is awesome. I love this.
The sound is good too.
Oh, this is so easy. I mean, OBS is a pain to set up. This is amazing, actually.
Yeah, Mully actually, I was telling Mully yesterday I wanted to try out OBS and I was trying to duplicate what you were doing because I was so impressed with your format on your Sunday night shows, and I was like, oh, he's great. And Mully told me about this, and I said I had no interest. I'm like, no, it's got to be OBS because Hiko's doing OBS, and then Mully did it in 5 minutes, and told me he did it in 5 minutes. I said, oh, I give up, and I did it in 5 minutes too. But today we had a little bit of trouble because we only did 2 people before. So
Yeah, last night I called. Like, let's get on real quick and just see how this works. So.
And it's good. It's very.
I mean,
smooth.
this is what I wanted to do. Like with 2.5 Voyages, it used to be so much trouble to record the 2 Skype streams and then to edit them together. And then, we've tried so hard to get side by side for all this time. And it's like YouTube just didn't want to give it to us. They wanted it to switch around. But yeah, here it is. This is what, and it's just like easy. This is great. I'm going to use this.
That's good. That's good.
Tell me something, Hiko. What about recording this?
How do you mean?
He said
What
recording.
would you do to record this? If you were going to record this for, it's recording. Forget it. Forget it.
I'll download the video after.
I just finished teaching 6 lessons. My brain's fried.
That's right.
6 lesson. Oh my God, Jesus! On a Saturday. Okay. So actually, let's talk about something that has a bit of value besides this. Health in Japan and the health.
You mean the Japanese meaning of health, or the
Western
meaning of health?
The healthcare system in Japan, because
Professor
Outlaw has a serious health situation, and he's been living in Japan for about a year now. So I thought I'd let him.
But if I tell my Japanese friends that I have a health situation, they could take that totally differently. They could think like I owe people money.
But before that, let me celebrate by doing this on camera. Look at that! It's a brand new bottle of knob. Welcome to everybody on the chat.
Don't say it's a brand new knob when you're standing up with your zipper down.
I got a brand new knob. So a guy who lives here in Japan wrote on Facebook last week that don't give Americans socialism. You should give them a choice. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You live in Japan.
I saw that. I saw you reacting to that. Yeah.
I was like, I just erased all my. I've decided not to interact with people on Facebook anymore. They're just idiots. So, oh God.
I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway. So, but let's. I want to hear. We have a serious health situation here, or someone who's going to max out the Japanese health system. Tell us about your situation, Patrik.
In 2005, I was living in California and I was just not feeling very well. So I went to the doctor, and after a couple of tests, he called me back in and told me that I had advanced liver cirrhosis, to the point where there was nothing they could do except give me some medication to help kind of ease the transition. They said there's no exact time, but eventually I would need a liver transplant. Mm-hmm. So advance 10 years, 2015. By the end of 2014, I had I guess you would call it an attack. My liver wasn't processing all of the bad things in my body. And so the alkaline and acid levels in my blood got so high that I passed out for about 3 hours and didn't even know it. I woke up and I was like, what happened? Fortunately, I was at home, so it didn't, it wasn't a problem.
And you're still in California now, right?
Yeah, in California. So I went to the hospital emergency room. They checked me in right away. Basically told me that my liver had started to fail completely, and that there was no medication or anything that they could do. So I had to retire from my job because I couldn't take care of myself anymore because nobody knew when I might, fall unconscious again. Mm-hmm. So I had to sell my house, moved back with Mom so she could take care of me, moved to Colorado where she lived. So by January 2015, I was in Colorado and getting ready to move to Denver where the liver clinic was there. And in that time...
You have only one liver clinic.
There's special in the United States. Each region has where you can get liver or other body parts from. So if you live in like California, then you're like West Coast is like Washington, Oregon, California, probably Nevada, and a few others. But it's such a populated area that many people never get a liver that are waiting for one. And Colorado is part of like the Dakotas and Colorado and Wyoming, and it's not as populated. So there's a better chance that I could get a liver there. But it was also where my mother lived, so it was the best place for me to go. So I moved to Denver and got established at the main liver clinic there in Denver. It's the clinic where they made the first successful liver transplant. So I was kind of happy to be at that place. So January moved in to Colorado. By April, I was in Denver. And by the end of April, I was admitted to the hospital with about 30 days to live.
What?
Yeah. That's how fast everything went.
So you were supposed to die in, what month are you? Were you in 2016?
Well, in January of 2005 is when they diagnosed me with advanced cirrhosis. And they said there's no telling how long it will be, but eventually you'll need a liver.
When were you
I managed to go for almost 10 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What was the cause of the cirrhosis? Was it drinking or hepatitis or some autoimmune disease?
No, unknown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
So I was one of the lucky few who they don't know why I got cirrhosis. I wasn't a heavy drinker. I never did drugs. I didn't have any communicable diseases or anything like that. I was not a needle user or anything like that. So they didn't know. So my liver is somewhere in the University of Colorado Hospital science labs for study. I donated it so they could try to figure out, why do people get cirrhosis when they're, don't have the normal things that cause it.
Right.
Oh, so you got the transplant.
So I got the transplant. Luckily, by the beginning of May, like I said, I was in the hospital permanently, and they were told me, you have about 30 days to live. By the 20th of May, my kidneys had started shutting down as well. So they thought I might have to have a kidney transplant also. So they were a little bit worried about that because it's hard enough just to get a liver, but to get a liver and kidneys that match at the same time was pretty hard.
Geez, like fucking seeing Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Right. So about the 23rd or 24th, I think it was the 23rd, they told me that my test results, because they base who gets a liver first, they base it on certain levels of your blood and all of that, creatinine and something else. I can't remember what it was called. Mine was over the scale, so they bumped me to the top of the list. And at that point, they said, you're going to be lucky if you last another week.
Wow.
So they put me at the top of the list. And
when was that?
That was like the 23rd of May. And then on the 27th, I was, wasn't doing very good at all. Basically, probably days from dying. They came in and said that they had found a suitable liver for me, that it was coming in from another state. They didn't tell me where. For some reason, I keep thinking South Dakota, but I'm not sure that's where it was. And then they said they had to run some tests as soon as it came in. And once they, ran all the tests and everything, they'd let me know if they could proceed with the surgery. So later that day, the 27th, they said, yes, it's a good match. It looks like it's going to work. So you're scheduled for surgery in the morning. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, my family gathered at the hospital and they wheeled me down into the surgery room, and then I woke up many hours later with a new liver. So I was very fortunate to get the transplant and fortunate to have insurance.
Now, did the new liver help with the kidneys?
Yes, they decided that they would not do anything with the kidneys at that time. The kidney doctors said they felt like that they would come back after my liver was working. And
got a question from Kenchi.
I was lucky that's what happened. Although one of my kidneys was damaged in that, so there's a possibility I might have to have a kidney transplant, but they're not sure yet.
Do you do dialysis or anything now?
No, not anymore. So I'm lucky about that too.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
I've never met the donor. I sent a letter to the donor family, but you have to send it through the hospital because you don't get to talk to them directly.
Right.
But I've never heard back, so I don't know.
They might be dead.
Yeah. Well, obviously
they're dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only have one liver, so
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't do half a liver.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who it was. I think they told me it was a woman, but I don't know for sure. A lot of my memories are vague because I don't remember many things. So,
are your nipples more sensitive?
What? Are they growing? Yes.
Are your nipples more sensitive?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to Japan. Let's jump to Japan.
Yes, you can live with one kidney. That's not a problem. But one of my kidneys was damaged pretty badly, but it bounced back, and the other one had to kind of take up the slack. So they were worried that both would fail eventually. That's why they thought I might need a kidney transplant.
I would say if you were bouncing the kidneys, that would be the problem.
Yeah.
I have a question of something you said earlier. You said when you're in a more populous area, such as California, you're less likely to get a transplant. But wouldn't that also mean that there are less potential donors? So it should kind of even out?
Well, you would think, but apparently there are just as many people dying in these other areas as there are in the populated areas. The problem is that there are so many people, like in the Western region, that are needing transplants, that even though a lot of people are donating their organs for transplants, there's just not enough of them. Yeah. But in the less populated areas, there's still a lot of people donating their organs for transplants. And less people who are needing a transplant. So your chances of getting one are a lot higher. To the point where one of the people who was they have a program, basically. You have to kind of join this whole group. And all of the people who were sort of on the list to get transplants, they had come from Ohio, which was outside of the Colorado transplant area.
I'm from Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you could have gone to Colorado for a transplant if you needed one.
I have a question.
Okay.
And this is probably everybody's going to want to know the answer to this one. How does it feel for the doctor to tell you you've probably got about a month to live?
Yeah, it wasn't very nice. You have to understand that I was on quite a few.
I want to do this before the end of the month.
Yeah, I was on quite a few drugs, so a lot of the things that were said to me, I don't even remember.
Okay.
My family wrote down all of the notes and everything, But I mean, they had to talk to me because I was the patient, but I did a medical power of attorney for my sister and my mother, so they could answer any questions for me, because I had talked with them before, made a living will and all of those things so that they could have legal rights. And they did all of the answers, but they talked to me and said, you have a month to live. And, of course I'm on all these drugs. I'm like,
More of this, please.
Yeah.
Okay,
question.
there's one of the two non-Americans here. The question I have, I mean, I see documentaries saying that in America, someone like chops a finger off, and they've got to decide if they want to mortgage their house and put it back on or not. I assume a liver transplant would be a little bit more substantial than that. So when Mully was about to ask that question, and that is the emotionally correct answer to ask, how did you feel? I'm like, how much did that must have, like, how are you even like able to come to Japan after the cost of all of that?
Right. So I was going to get to that. The thing that I had was really good health insurance through the state of California, because I worked for the government, the state government, and the CalPERS, which is the retirement program that handles the retirement and the health benefits, had really good insurance options, and I had been in that good insurance from day one. So when I had to go to Colorado for the transplant, the hospital negotiated with my insurance company on behalf of me. They said they normally don't have any problems, but just in case, they were like, be prepared. The insurance company approved the transplant and all of the associated care. However, there was a deductible that I had to pay. So the total cost of all of my health care while I was in the hospital for the liver transplant was almost $1 million.
What?
Say that.
Almost $1 million.
Jesus
I got a
Christ.
bill. The bottom was like $990-some thousand. I was like,
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God.
So now what's funny about that is your reaction to that looks much more dramatic than being told you have a week to live.
Right. Yeah.
true.
Well, that was after I was well, so I could actually read it and go, what the hell?
Ooh, thank you. I only got a month.
But fortunately, the next page showed all of the deductions, the insurance coverage, everything. So through all of that, my actual out-of-pocket expense was about $20,000.
That's still a lot.
It is a lot, but for my life, I guess it was well worth it. Sold my house since I didn't really need that, so that's where most of the cash came from. Plus, I could do payments through the hospital and everything, so kind of worked out pretty good. Now, $20,000 is still quite a lot, and a lot of people probably would not be able to pay that. The hospital does have a program for people who can't pay. They have a charitable organization that takes, accepts contributions from other people. A lot of people who have had transplants contribute to it. I contributed a little bit. And that helps to offset the payments for some people as well.
Okay. I understand that if you're poor, it's actually better to be poor to get charity in America. If you have nothing, you have a better
usually.
chance.
But charity, I mean, okay, so so Red Valley knows what I'm thinking here. I mean, every other country in the world, rather than relying on people being nice, which sometimes you can be nice and not even think about it, unless something happens to you. Most societies just accept, hey, yeah, we should make sure that people aren't in the situation, and just chip in a bit of tax for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And in America, if you even suggest that, it's like you're a communist. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Americans, we like to pat ourselves on the back because we're so charitable to each other. But the fact is, we should actually have the government just taking care of us, so we don't have to have bake sales and shit to raise the money.
Here's the thing, Hiko. This is what I think about the American healthcare. I think people don't understand what national health care really is.
Yeah.
I think they automatically, it's going to be free for everybody. It's not going to cost anybody a penny, and blah blah blah. And that's not how it works. You still pay for health care, right? But it's just not as heavy as it is now. And I don't think people understand that. I'm all for why doesn't America do something like Japan? I don't know. I don't know why they don't.
The craziest thing is? The crazy thing is that America pays more. The American government pays more in healthcare costs per citizen than any other country in the developed nation.
Yeah.
So it just shows that the system is broken.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we're stupid. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks here when I was diagnosed with diabetes 3 years ago, and I had 24-hour care. And I mean, they were literally coming in the middle of the night, taking blood and things. And
sponge baths, right?
from a male nurse.
You have to pay extra for that.
I let him do it for free.
Yeah.
So when I got out, when I was finally released, my total bill that I paid was like $1,000.
Well, a liver transplant, in fairness, a liver transplant, I think 20,000 probably is about the amount you'd pay in most places, even that have a lot of government care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot, but it sounds like what the cost would be, and it sounds like there would be ways of support. Just what sounds crazy to me is that the idea that some people would be reliant upon there being charity available to get that. That would even be in the equation. It's wonderful that it's there. But like the fact that you could be at the mercy of, well, that's right. That to me is odd, but of course that's what we all look at America and wonder about.
I think a lot of it has to do with the S word, socialism. The Americans don't like the S word. Socialism, oh my God. Oh, do you have Social Security? Yeah. Socialism.
So I want to ask you about coming to Japan.
Sure.
You got your transplant, and when did you come to Japan after that? After the surgery? How long after?
Yeah, came to Japan in 2018. So 3 years after my transplant. Before I came, I did a lot of research as to what kind of liver transplant healthcare was available in what areas in Japan. And fortunately, Nagoya has a couple of places. There's the University Hospital. I think that's what it's called in Nagoya. But there's also a hospital in Gifu, Gifu City, Gifu Prefecture, that has one of the top liver transplant doctors in Japan. So it was kind of fortuitous that that's where I ended up coming.
Did your medical situation have any bearing on your acceptance to Japan? I mean, did that come up? I wouldn't think it would, but did anyone even know? Like, oh, this guy's got a bad liver.
No,
weak kidney,
none of that ever came up.
I guess your liver is good now. It's just
I don't have any problems. I have to take medication for the rest of my life to help prevent rejection, but
you seem healthy.
Yeah, I'm healthy. I don't have any issues.
When your liver was going really bad, did your skin turn yellow or anything?
Oh yeah, I was jaundiced. Yeah.
Heavily
jaundiced.
The question Victor had actually about the visa status is legit. Like for New Zealand or Australia, you have to reveal if you have medical conditions. Because theoretically that's a taxpayer burden, so they actually take that into account.
Really?
And this is where actually, of course, So it's like in Japan, the fact that they don't ask that at all actually is something you could say is actually a positive about Japan in some ways.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that they don't ask, it's impressive.
Yeah. So when I got to Japan, of course, I had to sign up for the national health care and make all the payments and everything. But when I talked to the doctor, they recommended that I talk to the liver clinic doctor to see about, if there was something else that needs to be done. So when I made an appointment with the liver clinic doctor through a company called Japan Healthcare International. I think that's what they're called, JHI. So they did all of the translation, the medical translation for me, so that they knew what, I told them what was the problem, what I needed. They talked to the doctor on my behalf. My first appointment with the doctor, they came to help translate everything, and we got everything set up through them. And that their service was, I think, total less than $300. I had to pay for the translator to come from Tokyo. So
Oh, really?
pay for the
They don't have anyone in this area who can do that.
Well, it's such a specialized thing. I don't know, but that was the person I had been talking to, so she was familiar with everything. I didn't mind; it was pretty cheap. Not that big of a deal. So,
And
because I had the liver transplant, the doctor at the liver clinic in Gifu said that I get the disabled status or whatever they call that in Japan.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to still pay what is it, 30% or whatever. So I had budgeted for all of that, but he said, no, this is what you get. This because of what you have, and
you got a special deal. What does that mean? Disabled.
Well, basically, it means I still pay based on pay the monthly amount based on my salary, but essentially all of my healthcare is I don't pay any extra.
But also, so that means you've got the Shugai Techo, right? You've got the notebook for disabled people, right?
I have I don't know what you call it. I don't want to show my number or whatever.
Sure, don't worry about that. But basically, you're certified in Japan as an
really
official.
Fast.
So with that, no, that's like so in Japan, there are quotas that large corporations and government agencies are required to have X number of employees who have that.
Oh,
so you're actually that like boosts your employability 1,000 times. Besides which you get like cheaper train tickets.
Yeah.
Cheaper train tickets?
Oh yeah, you get cheaper passes and stuff like that. It's actually that's a great thing to have.
I haven't used it for the extra stuff, like getting cheaper train tickets and getting cheaper expressway.
Can you park at the door?
Yeah, I can put on the sticker on the car and everything. I figure, I'm not really like physically handicapped.
Right.
So I don't mind parking where everybody else parks. And I don't mind paying the extra because, they are giving me a really good deal on the healthcare. So I'll kind of make up a little bit of the difference by paying the full price for other things. So I know it probably doesn't come anywhere near, an equal amount, but I feel like it's the least I can do because I'm getting such a good deal.
But as an upside, I mean, for everything you've been through, and for the people in a similar position who have been through it, it's a nice upside to have at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I didn't know about that at all. Let me for those of you who have not been in Japan or who are planning or thinking about coming to Japan, and Niko, you're going to be useful for this because you're the person who's come most recently. Niko just left Japan a couple months ago.
Yeah, I'm coming back 2.5 weeks.
And
yeah.
And he, as a first-year student, you were paying how much a month? Was it like $15 a month?
Yeah, $20, not even $20.
Okay.
And you can pay that as a 6-month thing, and then it gets even cheaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's cheaper. Okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you coming to Japan, the first year, and I don't think is that because you were a student or because it was a first year?
It might be either. I don't know.
I thought it was based on your salary.
It is, but the first year you have no salary.
Right, so it's the minimum,
Yeah. So it's about $15 to $20. It was 15 for me. I remember 1,500 yen, and then after
I was
that,
paying 1,600 yen.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, and then they base it on your last year's income. But the thing about this is that there's a max, and Hiko, correct me if I'm wrong. In Nagoya, the maximum, and I'm pretty sure it differs slightly from prefecture to prefecture, but it's about 65,000 yen, which is about $600 US. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I don't know actually. So yeah,
Honestly,
You
that's
go
really
through-
cheap.
Yeah. So that's maximum. So even if you're Bill Gates, well, I guess Bezos. What's Bezos' first name? I forgot his name.
Jeff.
Jeff Bezos. Yes. Jeff is such not a rich person's name, isn't it? Jeff.
Jeff.
Even
Maybe
if you're
Jeffrey.
Jeff.
Jeffrey.
Even if you're Jeff Bezos, the most you'd ever pay in Japan for healthcare, if you're part of the national health insurance system, would be $600 a month. It never goes past that. So.
Oh right.
There you go.
Oh no, that's the right. Yeah.
So what Mully was talking about before is that Americans think it's all going to be free. It's not free, of course. I mean, I've paid. If you think about the amount of time I've been here, I've paid just thousands and thousands of dollars into the healthcare system, and I haven't really used that much. But if something does happen, I'm set. Like I was in the hospital 2 years ago for, I forgot what it was, but I was in there for 10 days.
The thing I don't understand, like with the U.S. the Affordable Care Act, is when they said you can keep your doctor, but then they wouldn't let you keep your. Why wouldn't they let you keep your doctor?
Congress. That was his intention. That was his intention.
But like here, we can choose our doctors, so that's why I don't understand why it's a problem. Like we've got great health care here. I think we had top-notch service.
Yeah. Well, there is a downside to healthcare that people point out all the time, and that is that there's less money for research. So when you overcharge people, you got all this extra money that you can throw into research, and that's why the U.S. is one of the leading countries when it comes to pioneering new medical techniques. And a lot of Japanese doctors, because I've taught a lot of doctors here, they will go to the U.S. to study new techniques and such. And it does happen in Japan too, but usually it's the U.S. doctors that are like coming up with really cool shit.
I will say this as a downside to Japanese healthcare is when, like, if you go to the dentist, I have two teeth now that need root canals. Okay, I'm going to be sitting in that dentist chair. I'm going to be sitting in that dentist chair every week for about the next 6 months to take care of goddamn teeth.
Yep, because they charge you.
I had 2 over here I had done. It took a goddamn year to get them done. But with that said, I didn't pay more than $200 for the whole thing.
Yeah, ditto on the dentist. Yeah, that's right. Even just going for a cleaning, they'll only clean 1/4 of your mouth at a time. You have to do 4 bookings.
I'm having cleaning now. They clean from here to here.
Yeah.
Okay. They clean from here to here, and then they did some X-rays and found that I needed a root canal over here and over here. So they're going to do that first, and then they're going to clean here, and then here, and then here, then here, then here.
By the time you're finished, they'll have to clean the first ones again.
Yeah, I had to have a crown replaced just a couple months ago, and it took 4 visits over the course of 2 months.
Well, so for crowns in New Zealand, everyone gets like braces and stuff, and dentists are expensive. And I had Japanese friends in New Zealand who needed a crown, and they flew back to Japan to get the crown done, and it was cheaper to get an air ticket and fly back to Japan to get the crown done than it was to get it done in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, of course, my special health status, I didn't pay anything for the crown.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, in the United States, it would have cost me about $1,000 for the crown.
But one of the
if I was back home, I could probably get all this done in 2 days.
Yeah, but you'd also be paying a lot more.
Exactly.
A lot more. I mean, I've been to the dentist sometimes, and I paid literally like less than $2. And I thought, well, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Really?
My last visit
150 yen I paid.
Was 178 yen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But there is a bunch of dentists in Japan, so there's a huge amount of competition, so that pushes down prices.
Oh, man.
And it's not like it's one of these things that you see in a movie, like some dark alley, dirty, filthy dentist. Like the place I go is like way modern. Well,
I missed that movie.
You see these things where they're, real dirty looking and everything, old equipment and shit like that. The place I go is totally modern.
Right.
And I love my dentist. He's the best dentist I've ever had. Except it takes the goddamn year to finish a goddamn tooth.
Yeah. And the other thing about American healthcare that you have to remember is that it's not even included, right? Dental care.
Right.
No, it's separate.
Always extra. It's always separate. Yeah.
But same with vision.
What about in Austria and New Zealand? Do you guys have You have national health care, right?
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Look how healthy this guy is. Of course.
Yeah.
You should look at me.
Obviously.
Look at his body.
New Zealand's become Americanized. When I was a kid, it was all social. It was all tax based. Now a lot of people have private insurance, and you can go to slightly nicer places if you have the private insurance.
Oh yeah, there is private insurance, of course. So basically, in Austria, it's a bit different in every single European country. You're from New Zealand, Hiko?
Yep.
All right. So in Europe, oftentimes you have your simple base insurance system, and oftentimes you have different kind of private insurances on top of each other. But oftentimes, in my opinion, it's better if you want something that you get from a private coverage, like a single bed in a hospital room, then you're just better off taking the normal health insurance plan and then just paying for that single room afterwards separately. So I'm not a really big fan of the private insurance things, but they exist.
Yeah.
But exist on top of the system, so they're not really a replacement.
On the dentistry thing, in New Zealand, my friends like from university who went to medical school, the ones who are interested in money did dentistry. You go to a dentist clinic in New Zealand, they all have Mercedes-Benzes and BMWs. I think doctors, there's a lot of doctors in poverty in Japan and New Zealand. I think that's what America, when people have the debate about healthcare and the doctors' unions or groups are getting involved because they don't want to be, I think where the Affordable Health Care Act, when they're designating doctors, there are probably some doctors that are charging, exorbitant rates because they know the insurance companies are paying for it. And so, that's probably why there's some selection, but this is why a lot of doctors want to go and be doctors in the US, because you can be a millionaire being a doctor in the US, which you can never be in New Zealand or Japan. So,
yeah.
A little side note about dentists. There are more dentists in Japan than there are convenience stores.
I don't believe that.
Really?
I don't believe that.
I've seen that.
surprised
Why don't you believe it?
Because I've seen more.
You should
convenience
just
stores
yell
than
fake
dentists.
news. Fake news.
Fake news, exactly. I went around the neighborhood a bit when I was living in Japan, in Nagoya, and I did see quite a few dentists. Like quite a few, but there were definitely more convenience stores around. Definitely.
and I would point to Japanese
Anecdotal
teeth.
evidence.
Japanese teeth is the evidence.
I would point to
Yeah.
Japanese teeth as the evidence that there's clearly more convenience stores.
Well, an orthodontist and a dentist is different, but good point. Yeah. Well, in my neighborhood there are 3 dentists, and there are okay, maybe 3 convenience stores is about the same, but that's a subjective rating.
There's 3 dentists in my neighborhood, but no convenience stores nearby.
Well, that's what's happening out in the country. Yeah. Right. So anyway, Japan. Basically, I'm pretty happy with the medical system here. Oh, and something about Nagoya that maybe you don't know, Hiko. All children fees, because you have a kid, right? All children's fees are free until the age, I think, 5.
Tokyo is like that too.
Yokohama
is not.
Ah.
So it's all the
I didn't know that. I
government-
thought it was just Nagoya. Okay.
No, Tokyo, I don't know if it's by city ward or if it's by Tokyo, but certainly that was one reason. I was tempted to move to Yokohama for work. And my wife was like, no, because we have to pay for medical costs down there.
All medical costs for children are completely free.
Yeah. So,
we had an emergency
That's
one night. There was something, my son hit his head against the wall, big old bump. So just in case we went down, it was on a Sunday. Free.
Yeah.
No problem. Right.
That's
Was
good.
that the night I kicked him in the face?
Yeah,
Honestly, that's a good idea to keep that free. I mean, population crisis and stuff. You want to encourage young families as much as possible and support them as much as possible.
well, here's what's strange about Nagoya too. Old people, they pay 5,000 yen. Over the age of 65, if you pay 5,000 yen, you can ride for free all public transportation for the whole year. Just get a pass.
Ooh,
Oh,
for
nice.
5,000 yen
for per year.
for a year. That's nothing. 5,000 yen.
Yeah.
What?
$50. $50 you get a pass as an old person over the age of 65, and you can travel all around. And if you're 50
Aichi.
years old, what?
Aichi? Just Aichi?
Aichi. Aichi prefecture, yeah.
Aichi. Yeah.
Aichi. If you're 50 and you go to the movie theater with anyone who's younger or older, if one of you is 50 years old, it's only 1,000 yen per person instead of the 1,800 yen.
Wait, cinema is 18,000 yen? Wait,
So it's 1,800 yen per person.
1,800. Oh, it's
If you just go right, but if one of you is 50 years old, it's 1,000 yen.
You know that
Oh, yeah.
For 2,000 yen for 2 people.
That's a price that hasn't changed since I've been in Japan. I've been here 28 years, and 28 years ago, a movie was 1,800 yen,
Yeah, so
and even
Most
now
movies
it's 1,800 yen. Hasn't
That's
changed.
amazing.
Most prices haven't changed. I've been here 20 years, and most things haven't changed, or they've gotten cheaper. Actually,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
it's been
rent.
the same with inflation.
rents have dropped, I think.
Yeah, rents have dropped.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
it's kind
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying nothing.
No, whenever I leave the country, so this is the thing, because everything stays the same here. Whenever I go to Australia or New Zealand, and I feel the inflation that's happened in those countries. The cost of food, the cost of real estate, everything has just like jumped like 30%, 40%. So the way I remember things is being, this was worth this back in New Zealand, and Japan's been the same the whole time. And now everything outside of Japan has gotten so much more expensive. So Japan it's become a lot more affordable just by standing still. I've really noticed that since I got here.
But where is the profit? Someone is basically losing money out of that. Where is
That's
that?
That's the whole deflationary, economic problem Japan has.
Right.
That people are not spending money, and it's caused the cycle of sort of decline.
Oh yeah, the European Union has that to some degree as well.
They're starting. Yeah, there's rumors that there's people in Europe afraid that they're going to become like Japan, and they're studying what Japan is trying to do to get out of it, but Japan hasn't found an answer.
Since you're on Europe, I'm curious. Since you're in Austria, what do Europeans think about Brexit? Do they give a shit? Are they like?
We can only laugh at this point. We're just making fun of it now. We're just posting memes on Facebook. That's about it.
Do you want England to stay? Do you give a shit? Do you like?
Well, personally,
okay,
I'm split. I lived in Britain for 4 years. That's where I got this weird English accent from. Well, not quite English. It's weird. But thing is, I have friends there. I talk to people, and they're like, I kind of feel sorry for them, But on the other hand, I kind of want this whole shit show to just end. So get out, Britain. Many people here in Europe, they're pissed off. They just want this stuff to end. They're sick and tired of it. It's old news now. We don't want it anymore. So at this point, many are like pro-Brexit. They just don't want to deal with Britain anymore. Yeah, even though we are like, generally, Britain is pretty cool, I guess. But we just fed up with them. That's the opinion here. Yeah.
Okay. And everyone else thinks that Boris is an idiot. Everyone agrees with that? Or?
Sorry? Yeah, Boris is an idiot. That's like fact now.
He's the prime minister that Britain really deserves, or that Britain deserves.
Right? Well,
exactly.
I just think it's funny how Britain accused the EU of being so not democratic, and then they not elect Boris Johnson to prime minister. He didn't get elected by the populace, did he? He just got it because he happened to be the leader of the Conservative Party. Okay. And yeah.
Hey, I got a quite good question. Do we have any Canadians or anyone people? We got someone in the comment section who says, Canada healthcare is better. Zushikate Tomoto Shift says Canadian healthcare is better. Why doesn't Japan do what Canada did? Hiko, do you have any idea what that's about? What's he talking about?
Well, for a start, Japan kind of is more towards what Canada is, from what I superficially understand. I mean,
that's what I thought. I don't understand the difference.
I mean, I think he's probably just sees Americans and he's a Canadian and he wants to brag, which is fair enough. I mean, either that or he's talking about the legal marijuana. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't see marijuana becoming legal in Japan for another 30 years.
It was legal until 1950, and it was only during the occupation that the Americans made it illegal. The emperor himself used to be the patron of the hemp industry in Japan.
Damn Americans.
And he promised, he went around all the marijuana farmers and said, don't worry, we're going to take care of you guys. But it was the Americans wanted to get Japanese to buy American synthetics.
Wow.
That they didn't want Japan making hemp anymore, and they shut down all the farms. So actually, although right now they treat it like it's crack, right? Marijuana is differentiated from the hardest drug.
Japanese people equate marijuana with LSD, cocaine, and crack. It's all the same to them.
Yeah, but it's actually not very long ago. It was totally normal, and it grows wild by the road in Hokkaido. I mean, it's like it's an indigenous plant in Japan. Yeah. So it's a funny thing.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. I've seen it before. Yeah.
Gentlemen, sorry. I've got a lesson starting in 20 seconds. Okay. So I'm going to be dropping out of here. Thank you guys for having me in. You guys have a great rest.
We're not going to badmouth you when you get off. Don't worry, man.
Nice to see you.
Fat motherfucker. All right. So, when I finish, if you guys are still on, I'll jump back in.
Okay.
Hi, Mully.
Luna Bun is describing Canadian healthcare. Overall basic healthcare for health, but medications over 25, dental and vision isn't covered unless added on insurance, which sounds very much like New Zealand or Japan to me, actually. So I don't know if it's. I don't see if
we
that's
don't
better.
get vision. We don't get vision, but we do get dental in Japan.
Is that right? Yeah.
Dental's included.
Yeah.
Dental's so cheap here, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
My boss told me just go to any vision center and do whatever you need to do there. It's like, really? Let's go get glasses, go get a test. So
it's cheapish, but I still know people. I know people like, especially older people, who will go and pay like 40,000 yen for glasses, $400 or $500 for a pair of glasses. But I know they're really cool, cheap places. Like I go to Monkey Flip. With my Monkey Flip for glasses.
400.
Huh?
$400 for glasses.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And in the U.S., that's about average.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's pretty standard. But in Japan, there are places you can get glasses for as cheap as $30.
Yeah, I don't need expensive glasses. I just need glasses.
Yeah. And you can get some pretty cool ones for $100. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. What's Lunar say? Canada has overall basic health care for health and medications. Dental and vision isn't covered unless added on insurance, disability, welfare. Yeah, so I think Japan is better that way. So I don't understand why Zushi is so hell-bent on... yeah. And Hiko does have a very loud...
Keyboard.
Is it mechanical?
Keyboard ever.
Is it a mechanical one?
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I just wanted to touch upon healthcare today a little bit, since we had someone who actually had a special situation. So you're technically handicapped, and you get an even bigger discounts than other people.
Yeah, I was also classified handicapped in the United States, but they revoked that about 6 months after my surgery. Because
Really?
they said, well, now technically you're not handicapped anymore. So it's like, oh, okay.
Huh, that's weird. Okay, I guess that's good.
I'm going to run back to my car.
Yeah.
All right. There was a question. Why don't we take some questions about other stuff?
Sure.
A guy, and Hiko, you can, since you've been here. A guy, where is he? I'm trying to go back down. He asked about when Lunar Bin, I think. No, was it Lunar Bin? No, it wasn't him. It was a shoeless floor dweller asks, when can he apply for permanent residency? He's been here, married for 5. He goes, I've been living in Japan for 5 years. Here's a comment. I've been living in Japan for 5 years. I'm married and owner of a house, but have had to put it in his wife's name. When should I be eligible for permanent visa status? I would say he's eligible now. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's a technical. You should just Google it, dude. And they keep making it easier and easier. Like I've heard of people applying for and getting PR after 3 years without even being married lately. But I think under the old rules,
it's easier if you're single for some reason.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. The old rule was 10 years if you're single and 5 years if you're married to a Japanese person. So if you're married to a Japanese person, that's 5 years. You should already be eligible. But from what I hear, they're making it even easier and easier to get it sooner and sooner. So
They want people in the country.
Yeah, they need people working. I mean, they're denying that the working visas are to promote immigration. They're saying it's only to increase the workforce, and it's all temporary visas. But they are making it actually easier to get permanent residence as well. Although they're being quiet about that. So yeah.
But now the floor dweller wants to know if Japanese people use contact lenses.
Everybody uses contact lenses.
Dude, my wife uses them. I mean, yeah.
Everybody. When I came to Japan in the 1990s, everybody wore glasses. Everybody had a pair of these. Nobody had contact lenses. And it was really rare to see people without glasses back in the 90s. And now you don't see anyone with glasses, or it's relatively rare to see people with glasses in the streets. And it's because they all have contact lenses. So
really? Is the Japanese vision that bad?
Yeah. Well, my theory, which is just a pure out of my ass theory, is that, they're so drilled in school. Like my son, 9-year-old, has to, do an hour's homework every day and 3 or 4 hours homework on the weekend. Their faces are pressed into books from such a young age. They just damage their eyes. That's my take on it. I don't think I don't know if it's naturally genetically bad vision or if it's. I think it's done to them. When I told my boss when I was at a very traditional Japanese company and I was bragging about my 20/20 vision, he gave me a look like he was like, "Oh, you've never studied properly in your life." In that case, like he was like looking down on me for having good vision.
No, I've heard that too. People with good eyesight are like, "Oh, yeah, I guess you didn't study."
Thanks, V Singularity, for reminding me. I still haven't done my daily kanji practice.
You're still studying kanji? Good for you.
Obviously, yeah. Still every single day.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
It sucks, but you got to.
How else? I mean, Anki makes it ridiculously easy nowadays. Just whip it out in public transport, and
Oh man, whipping it out.
and study.
What app are you using?
Anki Droid. Anki. It's by the way, it's has the
Android.
best. It has best business model ever. Basically, what they do is they gain market share by saying, you know, guys on Android, you know, you guys use it for free. Tell your friends about it, how amazing the app is, and then the iPhone users, they have to pay $30 for it.
Oh,
Really?
well, then
Yeah.
I'm not using it.
So it's an amazing app. It's so great, and I love the business model. It's the iPhone users who have that much money for a
It's subsidized.
phone,
Well,
anyways.
that's like making the 1%ers paying for it. I like that. That's like the American
Exactly.
healthcare model.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Basically socialism, but for apps. It's great.
I've heard good things about it. When I was
iPhone users don't like socialism.
Yeah, well, they get the full force of capitalism with
You're
$30
right.
of purchasing.
But for learning,
Um,
I was using flashcards, like old-fashioned flashcards.
Me
But
too.
yeah, from what I hear about Anki, yeah, it's funny how it starts to sound like an infomercial when we're all saying love Anki. It just reminds me that there was like a parody of a social media house on Comedy Central or something, and in every shot people are talking about how much they love AT&T, and someone was complaining, "They're not even sponsoring us. Why are you saying that?" But yes, no, with it. I've heard good things about Anki.
Yeah, whenever I make a joke promoting a kind of product, something in my video because I like it or I think it's like good information, I always pop up something definitely not sponsored. Just because, well,
Well, because everyone is. Yeah.
I'm obviously sponsored. So, no, I obviously have to say I'm doing this because I believe in the product. They definitely didn't pay me. Definitely. No.
Well, we have people in the comment section arguing that it's not free because you're actually paying in some way because of taxes or for the phone.
Wait, what? I don't pay for Anki through taxes.
I think they're talking about healthcare again.
Oh, right, healthcare.
Depends healthcare.
Anthony Otero would like a summary of the last hour. Japan is better than American healthcare. How about that? You're not going to lose your health.
Yeah.
And actually, here's something. I wonder what would have happened to you if you'd had the same situation in Japan where your liver had failed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after talking with my doctor in Japan, it sounds like the Matsunami Hospital in Gifu has performed many hundreds of liver transplants, and that they basically take care of most of the people in this area, even some that come from far away. And
Is that
the
Ishoku?
hospital is set up to handle it, so they've got plenty of services there and know what to do. So I would assume that it would have been very similar care, but I don't know exactly how it would have gone.
But if you have something as serious as that, I think there's two things that would come up. One, you want to be near the best doctors that you can afford to be near, and America does have very good quality healthcare,
Sure.
for something like that. And two, I think you'd want to be near your family in that situation as well. You wouldn't want to be in
Right.
a country and language barriers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
If it had happened, if I had the unconsciousness while I was in Japan and talked with a doctor and they said, oh, you're going to need to, be permanently handicapped, quit your job and whatever. I obviously I would have had to have gone back to the United States because I don't have family here. Nobody could have taken care of me the way that my family did back in the United States, for sure.
right.
Good. That's interesting. This is a great a great way to teach. I could teach Japanese this way, or just
yeah,
improve people.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love the interface. Apart from the
Yeah.
fact that it cuts us off sometimes, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. You know, there's
It
something
could
else.
be a little
Listen to this.
smaller, yeah.
Well, there is this. See that? You see that?
Yeah.
Whoa, Mr. Important.
Yeah.
The only one who matters. The rest gets like scraps. We are fighting for the scraps right now.
I'm not sure how to put it. Okay, there we go. But how do I choose one person? I'm not sure how to.
Can you
make one
really
person.
choose just one person?
Yeah, you can only choose yourself. Maybe now click on someone else. I don't know.
I'm trying that, but it's not working. Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Well, it's only Mr. Give Me a Break Man who is important, so who cares? It's like
One other thing I like about this format is that we could do this. Let's say, for example, that I'm. Let me look up something. Let's see. Let's say I wanted to say, well, I'll just type in healthcare in Japan and see what we come up with. And I want to share a page. Let's see what we got. Medical care. Well, just for the.
Sharing the
Okay.
screen.
Just for the sharing the screen. Okay. So I go down here, and I think it was sharing screen. Here we go. Yeah. So I can click on that. See? Look at that.
yeah,
And that's pretty cool, right?
that is really cool.
Right? Yeah. And you can also do one application window. Like if you only wanted one window like that, you can all talk about this one article together. See? It's pretty cool, right?
It is indeed.
Yeah, I like the system. Man. Anyway, but stop sharing. Here we go. Yeah, that's cool.
Sharing screen is like socialism. Don't do it. That comment. Sharing screen is like socialism. Don't do it. That comment is amazing.
Oh, you have diabetes too? Didn't know that, Patrick.
Yeah, as a result of the transplant and the medication that I take, I got diabetes as well. So
It's pancreas, right? So that's pancreas, kidneys,
Yeah.
and liver.
So they took out my gallbladder while they were in there, and of course that brings up other issues. So I don't have a gallbladder. I have somebody else's liver. I have one damaged kidney that works, but it's not 100%. So I do have to take medication for the transplant, and because I somehow picked up the diabetes from. Probably they say the medication that I take does often cause type 2 diabetes, so that's probably how I got it. So I do have to take insulin. But
How much is your insulin? Because I hear that it's like $300 for one.
in the United States? I was paying $50
Oh,
under my insurance for one month supply.
$50,
Here,
but with insurance.
yeah, with insurance, I was paying $50. Here, I don't pay anything because my special status. Yeah, I mean, I pay through taxes and my.
I saw on the news last week that Bernie Sanders took a bus up to Canada. He gathered all these diabetes patients, and they did not know. He did it kind of anonymously, like they didn't know he was part of it. And they just got all these people who needed insulin, and they took them to Canada. And in Canada, you can buy insulin medicine for about $36 a vial or a month supply. But in America, it would cost you 10 times as much, $360. So, which is just crazy, and people couldn't afford it. So people would go up and buy thousands of dollars worth of insulin and bring it back, and I guess they throw it in the freezer or something or whatever.
Yeah, my transplant. Anti-rejection medication is also used for chemotherapy, which is kind of strange. Without insurance, a 1 month supply is $2,000. With insurance, I had to pay $100. So it was, it could have been pretty bad for my aftercare without insurance.
And you do have good insurance, so.
Yeah, fortunately, I had good insurance. I mean, I still carry the insurance in the United States just because I don't want to cancel it for when. I'll say when. If I go back to the United States, I want to be able to continue with that same insurance without having to re-enroll and have a pre-existing condition and all that crap.
Oh, shit. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So how much are you paying now per month?
For the
American.
United States, I'm paying about $175 a month.
Right. Yeah.
Still quite a bit for
Still quite a bit if you are not going to use it.
Yeah, it goes up about $10-$15 every year. Yeah.
Right. Zushu says, "Why not get a job with 100% coverage?" Yeah, well, not everyone can have that job. Sure.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone would like that job. So that's why when you look for a job in the States, people would always say things like, "Oh, and they have health insurance. Oh, and they provide. They'll even give you dental."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Zushu, you're acting like it's just like it's easy, like it's like your own choice. But and you're right. I mean, I suppose it is partially, but
the other thing that I remember from working with Americans quite a lot is how the system there, the combination of student loans, like people come out of like a law school degree with like $200,000, $300,000 of debt, and then you have people who have, for example, medical conditions, and it means that they're not able to change their jobs. They're afraid they'll be in these terrible jobs that they want to quit, but they can't pay back their loans, and they're worried about losing their medical coverage while they're looking for a new job. So they stay trapped in these jobs. They're like kind of debt medical slaves to their companies. That's another thing that I'm really kind of glad Japan and Australia and New Zealand don't emulate yet. So
it's the student loan thing is. Yeah, from a European perspective, completely and utterly insane.
Yeah.
Well, we've been on for over an hour, so we should probably wind this up. But I want to thank everyone for coming on. We got Niko over there, the Red Value, who will be back in Japan and will be making videos with me soon.
Yeah.
So you're coming back next week?
2.5 weeks.
2.5
weeks. Oh.
My flight, 21st of August. I will arrive in Nagoya, getting picked up by my girlfriend, who will be very happy to see me.
I'll bet.
Yeah. I'll have to ask her if she has contact lenses because I never saw her wear glasses before.
You know what I'd like to cover sometime, Hiko, maybe you could do some research on this. Speaking of girlfriends. Not that
girlfriends.
In the past, but what about birth control and such in Japan? I wonder what does Japanese health insurance cover all that and abortions, things like that? I have no idea. I mean, I'm not joking. I don't know. Maybe do a little research about that.
I guess you need to get a woman on the screen at some point.
Yeah, well, I'm sure no one would like to come on and say, I know how much abortions cost. But, no, but maybe the pill, for example. I wonder if the pill is
The pill is controversial. It's an interesting, I could talk about it like as a general thing, but in terms of stats, it's a really interesting subject here. I mean, Japan and North Korea were the only two countries in the world to not have legalized the pill, like until about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
it's bizarre because apparently Japan makes a lot of the pills in the world, right?
What about the male pill? Did they legalize that one?
Viagra was actually passed with a special legal bill. It was accelerated through Parliament. It was the fastest approval of a medicine ever in Japanese history. And yet they kept the female pill illegal until like 1998 or 1999.
Well, population crisis. To the patriarchy,
they want babies to come. They don't want some babies to knock people on.
But there again, Japan is one of the highest abortion rates in the world as well. So people used abortion instead of contraception. So
that's silly.
Well, yeah.
A good topic for another show.
Sure.
Yeah. We should look into that. I've got some stories to tell you there. Anyway, thanks everyone for coming. Of course, Hiko Simon's show. Check him out tomorrow night.
Yep.
Right.
10:40 p.m. My channel, Tokyo Tonight, as always.
Right, Hiko Simon. You should change your name so people can see the whole thing, but it's Hiko Simon. I put the links in the description there. Professor Outlaw does not have a YouTube channel, right?
I created one just not too long ago, but there's nothing there, so don't bother.
Is it called Professor Outlaw? Or?
Yes, yeah.
I actually searched.
You can catch me on Twitter under Professor Outlaw too.
Okay. All right. I'll put links to that, then I'll find them.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And hope to, I'll pop in with to just watch Hiko Simon tomorrow night.
Okay.
But everyone, take out. Peace out.
It was very fun.
Thanks,
Nice.
a lot, man. Good night,
Thanks.
guys.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm going to end this, but I'm not sure what happens. This is the first time.